Good evening and welcome to another episode of True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars. I am Benny Scala, the one and only Playa, and with me as always is my partner in True Crime. She is a New England Professional Wrestling Hall of Famer. She's Archie's mom, and she's the female and much prettier modern version of Wolfman Jack. And of course, I could always be talking about the very bad co-host, the one and only bad girl, Boston bad girl, Brittany Brown. Brittany, how are you?
I am doing well. It's a beautiful day here in New England, so I'm happy. How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Good.
And we are also joined by our True Crime Rookie of the Year, Tiffany Starr. Now, Tiffany has a new job running background checks on the Brazilian woman her dad, Dangerous Dave, wants to hook up with. Tiffany, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I've been busy with those background checks though. So
yeah, that's got to be like, how many hours a week you putting in on that? Because I mean,
at least 20, at least.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
like good old JR said, the business is about to pick up. I think you're going to get even busier. So,
I think
all right, guys. Well, we got some bills to pay here, and give me 1 second, and then we're going to get right to our very interesting case. Let's do. Here we go. This is Benny Scala, the one and only Playa, and welcome to another episode of True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars. Folks, we're very excited to be announcing our new sponsor, the Free Spirited Company. Free Spirited is a phenomenal old-school clothing company that specializes in long and short-sleeve T-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, graphic tees, heck, even yoga pants. These T-shirts are, to quote Rocky's manager, Mickey Goldmill, a wake of art. Yours truly will be rocking the free-spirited merch on each and every episode of True Crime with the Bad Girl, the Playa, and the Stars. Not only are these shirts eye-catching, but they are very comfortable as well. Like what you see? Please go to shopfreespirited.com and use our special code MP20 to receive a 20% discount on all purchases. Again, that is shopfreespirited.com, and the code is MP20. As the poet laureate of the Monte and the Pharaoh YouTube channel, I will leave you with this. If you like what you see, go buy a tea. Heck, maybe even 2 or 3. When your friends tell you, hey, you look like the bomb, send them over to shopfreespirited.com.
Yay!
Not wearing one tonight. I'm derelict in my duties, so shame on me, but I'll wear one next time. But, one of the things that amazes me about the cases that we do on this show is the pure evil of the people we cover. So last week we did Diane Downs. Before that, it was Casey Anthony. And then Scott, Drew, and Michael Peterson, also known as the Three Amigos of shit. And the list goes on. And I do believe that the couple we're going to talk about tonight, they might be the worst. So Karla, Homolka, I think her name is pronounced, and her husband, Paul Bernardo, were known as the Ken and Barbie Killers. Paul and Karla took part in the rape and murder of at least 3 minors in Ontario, Canada, between 1990 and 1992. And this included Karla's 15-year-old sister, Tammy. Bad Girl and Brittany will take you through, or Tiffany, I'm sorry. I didn't correct that from last week. Shame on me. I'm not doing it. We'll take you through the facts of this very tragic case. But I have to tell you, this one is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, this is absolutely unbelievable. I remember when this happened, and I couldn't believe that they did this at all, but especially to her own sister.
Yes.
That's what I could not get past.
Yeah.
To her sister.
Right in their own basement.
So,
jeez.
Oh, I know. So Paul Bernardo was born August 27th, 1964 in Ontario, Canada, to Kenneth and Marilyn Bernardo. The Bernardos were a financially well-off, stable, middle-class family. But as with everything else in the story of Paul Bernardo, this deceptively normal exterior masked a dark truth. In 1975, Kenneth Bernardo was charged with child molestation, and there were rumors he had even molested his own daughter. Paul Bernardo did not seem to be unduly affected by this dark turn in his childhood. It's weird. Observers recall him as always being happy, a young boy who smiled a lot. It wasn't until he was 16 when his mother revealed to him that he was actually the result of an extramarital affair that Bernardo's outward behavior began to noticeably change.
So
I don't
his dad was a pedophile. His mom was a whore. So he already had like 3.5 strikes against him, right?
Right. Oh my God. That must be really upsetting at that age. Well, any age, but even like that age when you think you know who you are, you think you know who your parents
Yeah.
are, and you find out your father's not your father.
But I mean,
Yeah,
go ahead, Tiffany.
I was going to say, I think that it sounds like maybe him and obviously we haven't talked about this yet, but him raping the women that he did, that maybe he was trying to get back at his mom for having that affair. And that was kind of his like way of getting back at her. Like he was mad at her for all of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then maybe he looked up to the guy he thought was his father, and his father did stuff like that. So it's okay.
Right.
What a great role model, huh?
Yeah.
What a family.
Yeah. He began to refer to his own mother as a slob and a whore.
See, it wasn't just me.
When he went off to study at the University of Toronto, he became adept at picking women up at bars, only to later humiliate and beat them. Oh, yeah. He's got a mommy issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Starting in May of 1987, the suburb of Scarborough in Ontario was plagued by a series of horrific crimes. In the early hours of the morning of May 4th, 1987, a young woman getting off the bus was grabbed and brutally raped near her parents' home. Over the next week alone, there would be 2 more similar assaults. Now, sadly, it happened at all, but sadly, the women were all between the ages of 15 and 21, and the attacks all included beatings, intense verbal abuse, and dire threats to discourage victims from going to the police, led authorities to conclude that they had all been perpetrated by the same man, whom the newspapers quickly dubbed the Scarborough Rapist.
When I think of Scarborough, I think of that Simon and Garfunkel song. Are you going to Scarborough Fair?
That's
Such
an
a peaceful song, but yeah, oh my God, Scarborough Rapist.
I know. Oof. During his nearly 5-year rampage as the Scarborough Rapist, Paul Bernardo raped or attempted to rape at least 19 young women. And this is only the official count. The victims were all young women, often grabbed around bus stops, although at least one 15-year-old was attacked in her very own bedroom. Oh, imagine where you're home and you feel safe.
The
and
one
that
place
happens
you
to
need to
you.
be, yeah, you need to be safe.
So a couple of Bernardo's victims managed to fight him off, and Bernardo was actually questioned by the police twice, but he was never named as an official suspect. It wasn't until May 1990 that one of his victims was able to give police an accurate description of her attacker, and by then, the Scarborough Rapist had become even more unhinged. He then met Karla, Homolka in 1987 when he was 23 and she was only 17. Karla was born to Dorothy and Carol Homolka in Ontario in 1970 and was the eldest of 3 siblings. She was described as a well-adjusted, pretty, smart, and popular child with a fondness for animals that led her to start working at a veterinary clinic after high school. Like Bernardo, there was nothing in Homolka's outward appearance that hinted at the depravity lurking just beneath the surface. Now, well before they became the Ken and Barbie Killers, Paul and Karla had an immediate attraction, one which only intensified when Bernardo discovered that, unlike the other girls he dated, Homolka shared the same sick fantasies. Oh,
She was a keeper.
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So he married her. Yeah.
Got to snap those right
They
up before they get taken.
They quickly began a sadomasochistic relationship in which Bernardo acted as an abusive master and Homolka as a willing slave. The whole while they dated, Paul Bernardo was also brutally raping girls in Scarborough with Homolka's knowledge and approval. There you go. He's a keeper too.
Oh, yeah.
Great. So they eventually became engaged, and she described to a friend how Paul and I are happier than ever. He's being so great, so romantic, but that's typical of my honey. But the
Wait,
truth
excuse me.
was that 3 years into their relationship, he was getting bored. He complained to her that she was not a virgin when they met, and soon turned his sick attention elsewhere to Karla's 15-year-old sister, Tammy.
This guy's
sad.
so
Isn't
sick.
that- I know. Look at that poor girl.
She's sick too, though. Like, I wonder, was she like, obviously there was something wrong with her to like go along with it, but like, was she just like secretly like this like the whole time, or like did she just become like this because of him? And she just like thought that's what he wanted. I don't know. It's like weird to like be normal and then all of a sudden you're this like crazy murderer and like
I know.
and raping all these girls.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's strange.
We have somebody in the chat room. Let me see. I think it's Craig Ugolini, and I believe he is from St. Catharines, which is not too far. So, I mean, I'd be curious that, and hopefully I pronounced your name right. I have heard nothing of her. I mean, obviously Bernardo was a sick freak, but I don't hear anything like as far as her childhood that she was in any kind of trouble ever.
No, she seemed pretty normal, I think.
Right. It makes you wonder. Obviously, he had a certain partner in mind. I wonder what he saw in her. I wonder if he knew that maybe she had it inside of her.
Maybe. I mean, she was also younger than him, so maybe he just thought like, oh, she's younger and impressionable, so I could probably get her to do whatever I want her to do. Or, I mean,
that's what I was thinking, like moldable.
Yeah. And they hooked up kind of like right away once they met each other. Like she went back to his hotel room that night, so he probably was just like, oh yeah, he's probably this girl's
at that age.
Easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brittany, I have a question for Brittany. Do you think that this girl was? This kind of reminds me of like almost like Charles Manson, with all his the girls that followed him, and
yeah,
I believe most of them were fairly normal, right? They just they adopted him as their leader, and became a cult. It almost sounds like this was just like a cult of two.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think, and this is just my opinion, but I don't think she was like this and he brought it out of her. I think he was like this and turned her into it. And
I
she
would agree
did
with
it
that.
because she wanted to keep it. Yeah. I think she changed for him and did whatever he asked.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. She was so
Yeah.
young, so.
I'm trying to think of the girl's name. Patricia Krenwinkel. Who was the other? I'm trying to think of the girl's name. Leslie Van Houten, Squeaky
And Susan
from
Atkins.
yeah, Susan Atkins. I mean, my understanding is they were all fairly normal girls. I don't think any of them had any kind of even the guy. What's his name? Tex
Tex
Watson.
Watson.
He was a high school athlete. They just the Manson was so charismatic that they just they followed him and they did all these things that they probably never would have done. I think this might be more the same.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a party of two, so to speak.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Very. We don't know the guy. I mean, he must have been very. Apparently, he had a sales job, and he would use like sales pitches to lure. And Craig, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that he lured these women. He would use the sales pitch, like almost closing a deal, closing a sale, and that's how he got his his victims to rape.
That's awful.
I mean, obviously he's very convincing. I mean, he lured these women. I don't think he just snatched them in broad daylight. I think a lot of them he probably convinced them that wherever he was going, they wanted to go with him.
He also didn't look like a typical like murderer or somebody that would like hurt you, I guess, like especially back then in the 90s. Like now I suspect everybody is going to try to kill me. So I don't care what you look like. But back then, like obviously like they didn't have true crime like how we have now where we openly talk about all these different things that happen. So I think they were probably just like, oh, he's, a good looking guy. Like he doesn't look like your typical person that would just go around killing people or raping people. So I think that was definitely in his advantage for sure.
Yeah. I think both of their looks got them further than they probably would have if they weren't both good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Far from being outraged at Bernardo's desires, Homolka once again encouraged them. She told Bernardo that she wanted him to have her little sister's virginity for a Christmas present. Yep. Thus, the crime that remains perhaps the Ken and Barbie Killers' most disturbing was set in motion. That is so sick for
it is.
To do. I mean, and that was obviously. I mean, that sounds like that came from her, not from him. I mean, this is her way of pleasing him. I wasn't a virgin, but my sister is. And now you can have what you wanted that you wanted to have with me, but you couldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Sick. On December 23rd, 1990, while at a Christmas party at the Homolka family home, Homolka spiked her own sister's drinks with animal anesthetics she had stolen from the clinic where she worked. That night, while the rest of the family was asleep and Tammy was unconscious, Homolka held a halothane-soaked cloth over her sister's mouth and took turns raping her with her fiance while videotaping the whole brutal incident. When Tammy began choking up vomit, the couple panicked and tried to hide the evidence before calling an ambulance. The teenager never regained consciousness and was pronounced dead at the hospital. So I'm just wondering why he didn't get in trouble for that, because he was significantly older and she was younger, and obviously I'm pretty sure they told them that she was drinking. So I just don't know how he didn't get in trouble for her death at all or for supplying the alcohol, because she was only 15.
Right. And then, and you'll be talking about it here in a second, that she had that burn on her face. I mean, we talked about this before about, the police kind of being lax and not really catching on to things. That this is another one where I believe at this point, again, Craig, he seems to know a lot about this case. I believe he was already questioned by the police for some of the rapes. They didn't arrest him at that point, but I believe he was already a suspect. So this he's already on the police radar. You would think that they would have, picked up on that and maybe questioned him some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's saying that, Craig's saying that there's a police sketch that was in the Scarborough newspaper and it's identical to him. So
I actually have that. I'm going to show that shortly. Yeah.
Although the mysterious chemical burn on her face was noted, the drugs in her system were not detected, and her death was ruled an accident as the result of choking on vomit from alcohol poisoning. Once again, the Ken and Barbie killers evaded justice.
I mean, I don't know how big that burn was, but I mean, you would think something like that would at least, pique the police's curiosity, or, I mean, wouldn't you think?
I know. They must have really lied like crazy.
It's one thing. I mean, yeah, I get you drank too much, you choked and, et cetera. But I mean, that typically doesn't involve having a burn on your face.
I know.
Yeah, it's just weird that they didn't look further into it. And when I was watching the documentary, I was just like, how did he not get in trouble for any of this? Like,
I know.
He's older. Like, obviously, like, why is he drinking with a 15-year-old? Like, that's just strange in itself.
Yeah.
Rather than calm Paul Bernardo's appetite for blood, the murder of Tammy Lynn Homolka only increased it. In 1991, Homolka lured another teenager she had befriended at work to the home she now shared with Paul Bernardo. The couple again drugged the girl, abused her, and videotaped it. Only this time, the Jane Doe survived and woke up with no memory of the horrific events. And that happened twice to that same girl, too. So she really, so she obviously didn't remember the first time because she went back a second time and they did the same thing to her.
Wow.
Yeah. Paul Bernardo and Karla Homolka married on June 29, 1991. The very same day, a horrified couple canoeing in Lake Gibson discovered concrete blocks containing human body parts in the water. The remains belonged to 14-year-old Leslie Mahaffey, who had disappeared on June 15th. She had been kidnapped by the Ken and Barbie killers and abused over the course of several days. As this grisly discovery was made, the killers enjoyed an elaborate wedding ceremony, which included their entrance in a white horse-drawn carriage. Almost a year later, on April 16th, 1992, the couple struck again, this time grabbing and killing 15-year-old Kristen French. They left her body battered and her hair partially shaved in a ditch along a rural road. Police soon realized that the two murders were connected. After the release of a composite sketch that resembled Paul Bernardo, tips were called in, some from coworkers and friends who reported Bernardo's disturbing penchant for violence.
I mean, that is pretty damn accurate.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they nailed him.
Yeah. In January 1993, Homolka left her husband after he dealt her a particularly vicious beating with a flashlight. Within 2 months, a DNA sample taken from Bernardo turned up as a match for the Scarborough rapist, and he was put under surveillance before eventually being arrested in February of 1993. So this girl she's stupid. I mean, she's obviously stupid. We know that. But she is doing all these things with her husband and then goes to the police as if she's not going to get in trouble too. Like, and it's just like, oh yeah, my husband's killing people and raping people. Like, okay, where were you during all of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she opened that can of worms herself, which good thing she did, because who knows who else would have been murdered, but still, like, for her to think that she wouldn't get in trouble is just crazy.
I know, but she's the one that's out now and he's not. She made a deal, so.
Well, yeah, because that lawyer, Paul Bernardo's lawyer, is kind of a piece of crap and kept the videotapes during all of this. Like, if he hadn't done that, there would have been no deal with her and she would still be in jail.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Karla Homolka quickly got a lawyer and sought a plea bargain in exchange for testifying against Paul Bernardo. She claimed Bernardo had told her he'd raped at least 30 women. The Ken and Barbie killers were now pitted against one another. The government agreed to a 12-year sentence in exchange for her cooperation, although this backfired dramatically when the videotapes the couple had made showcasing their gruesome crimes were discovered and Homolka's true nature was revealed. Karla Homolka was not the abused victim she had attempted to portray herself as, but rather a cruel sadist. Homolka was ultimately released in 2005 and since remarried and given birth. Paul Bernardo was found guilty of all charges against him and consequently sentenced to life for the rape, murder, and kidnap of 2 teenage girls, though it is believed he killed a couple more. His rape victims number somewhere in the double digits, presumably around 13. Bernardo's application for parole in 2018 after 25 years in prison was denied after only 30 minutes of deliberation. A lawyer on behalf of the victims' families reported that there's never been an apology by Paul Bernardo. There's never been any identification whatsoever of remorse.
Of course not. And Craig in the chat room said that Karla did not go to the police, I guess, after that flashlight beating, that the hospital actually called the police and then they investigated. But man, once they got that DNA against him, she turned on him in a heartbeat, though. Lawyered up. I mean,
wow.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. In the documentary, they were saying that she went to the police. Yeah. So I don't know which one is the true story, but I feel like if she hadn't gone to the police herself, I don't think half of what was said would have come out. I feel like she went to the police herself and was that angry with him and like purposely was saying these things thinking that he's going to be the one getting in trouble, not her.
Yeah.
So I don't know about because I feel like if the hospital had called, she would have been like, oh no, like she wouldn't say anything about like the murders and things like that, because just because he beat her didn't mean that she had to go and say he was a murderer and a rapist. So I feel like she definitely wanted that information out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, we've covered a number of cases. Like when we covered Jared, I mean, they knew about Jared and his pedophilic traits years before he got caught. Not a pedophilic, but they knew he was a pedophile years before he got caught. And we covered the Cheshire murders a couple of months ago. Both of those guys, they had no business being out of prison. The court system botched both of those and let those two guys. They should have been in prison the rest of their lives. But somehow they both got out. They both connected with each other, and then a whole family is dead pretty much. And I think the same thing here. I think that to a certain extent they missed the boat. I think when the sister was murdered, I believe he was already on their radar, and I think they. Somebody said in the chat room, I think it was Jason, said that the burn might have been caused by stomach acid, but I that sounds kind of. Could you really get from taking any kind of drug, puking up a drug that would it be that strong that it would burn your skin?
I mean, I've thrown up before and got it on my skin, and I've never been burned, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so.
I've never heard of that, but
I feel like either way, they knew she was drinking. Like that was part of their story, was she threw up because she was drinking. So like right there, he should have been in trouble for drinking with her, and she's underage. So
right. I mean, right. You're contributing to the delinquency of a minor. I would think that would be something in itself. No.
Yeah.
You would think, and actually, her sister should have gotten in trouble too, because she's overage, Karla.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, who bought the stuff? Who? It was in their house, or was it the family home? Like,
it was in the family's home, in the family's basement. So, I don't know where the parents were during all of this, but yeah, it happened in like the family's home.
That's what I thought. I thought it was Karla and her sister's parents' basement.
Yeah.
And and Paul and Karla are down there doing this to her 15-year-old sister, and the parents are upstairs having a Christmas party.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah, Craig is saying that Bernardo's in a minimum security prison. They moved him there about a year ago. I mean, this guy has never seen the light of day, because I, with my whole heart, believe that if he was released, he would do this all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's sick, but the fact that she is out too is like crazy. So I guess she got out.
That was my final question. I mean, 12-year sentence. Did she get off way too easy? I believe absolutely she did.
Yeah, she only got 5 years for each of the girls' deaths and only 2 years for her sister's death.
That's insane. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely insane.
And she didn't have to register as a sex offender when she got out either.
She didn't?
Nope. So she's not on the registry. She moved to Quebec and changed her name.
Isn't she like Leanne now or something? Her name is Leanne, I believe, right?
I think it's like Leanne Bordelin or something like along those lines. Yeah. And then she had the 3 kids with her defense lawyer's brother.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. They caught her outside of the kids' school. They were like taping her. I'm not sure if it was like the local like news or if it was just like people who discovered who she was, but like she was outside the kids' school dropping them off and they were taping her like, Karla, we know who you are.
Well, I mean, you've got to believe that. I mean, she's going to live with that the rest of her life. I think she's in her early 50s. But I mean, they don't forget this. I mean, she is so infamous in Canada, I'm sure. Well, she is here too. But I mean, now in her case, though, does she get a pass because she fell under his influence? I don't know. I mean, it just seems like she was a very willing accomplice that had, zero remorse and zero guilt.
Yeah, I don't know. She seemed like she was pretty much right there with him. Like the friend that she brought over was her idea. Paul wasn't even there or around when she brought the girl there. So I just feel like she's just as much to blame for everything as him.
I'm glad I don't have friends like that.
Oh, hell yeah. It's really scary though. Had he not beat her with that flashlight, I mean, how long do you think they could have done this and how many more victims would there have been?
I know.
They probably would have gone on for a while.
Yeah, but I'll bet you there probably would have been like 3, maybe more victims, but I don't think there would have been a whole bunch because he was already being investigated or they were already being investigated. I think.
I think if and I think with the sister thing was a mistake. Because I mean that's too close. I mean, if you get random victims, is a different story. You got the family thing, but yeah, you're right. And if he hadn't had the rape background behind with him as well, I mean they could have done this for years.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is pretty much pre-cell phone, pre-internet or very early internet. I mean, now everybody's a crime reporter. You got your phone with you. You can become a journalist instantaneously. But back then, I mean, nobody really thought that way.
No, definitely not.
Craig made a good point that prior to him being with Karla, he had only raped. He never murdered anybody. And then when he got with her is when it escalated to murder. So I wonder if whatever influence she had on him.
I know.
Murder. Like I wonder.
Well, do you think they meant to kill the sister? I mean, I think that was kind of an accident.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that once that happened, though, I think that gave him a rush. Like, wow, we went all the way. And I think at that point, nothing else would do. I mean, in my opinion, anyway. Once they got the tape to that, like, we got to do this every time now. That's why there's nobody to tell on us.
Yeah, isn't that awful? Oh my God, that's so sick.
I can't even imagine. Like,
imagine being her parents.
And they were over their house for like Easter and stuff too. Like, had no idea that this guy and her were raped their daughter and killed her.
Right.
Oh my God.
And there was one of the girls was in the basement during the Easter when the family was over. I can't remember if it was Kristen or Leslie, but I guess the mom was trying to go in the basement and they like had to like be like, oh no, like don't go down there because she was in the basement.
I'll get it for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Craig's got a great point though. He didn't even kidnap people before, so not all he did, but he would rape girls. But now it escalated to the point where they got kidnapped and then they got murdered, and that never happened before he met Karla. So
Kind of makes you wonder.
I really think she was a lot more culpable. I mean, she should still be behind bars, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, she should. I definitely wouldn't want her near my children.
I wouldn't want her as a neighbor. Forget.
No.
I don't have kids, and I still wouldn't want her around here. Oh my God.
I mean, you
I
can
can't
change
even-
your name, but like the world is such a small place now. There are no secrets.
No.
Everybody knows who she is.
Oh, definitely. The internet did not help her.
No, I'm surprised that the defense lawyer's brother decided to have kids with her. Like, are you not scared that she's gonna like do something to your kids? I would be.
Or you put something in your drink.
True.
Well, somebody said something in the chat room that she attempted to be a chaperone on her kid's field trip at school. Like, if I'm one of the parents, it's like, hell no.
She did, yeah. Somebody, they like wrote, I don't know if it was a parent or who it was, but they wrote like a flyer and it was like, would you want this person like chaperoning your kids? And like, she's a murderer kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
like Benny said, she's not getting away from that.
No, I mean,
No,
you know,
and she looks the same. So.
Right. And I mean, as far as he goes, I mean, you know, jail is supposed to be where you get rehabilitated. There's no way you can walk that one back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
and I feel the same way about her though, too.
I do too. I do too. I mean, I'd love to interview her husband. It's like, what attracted you to this girl? Like, you know, why did you marry her? Knowing you had to know what she did. I'm sorry. How do you sleep at night? I mean, or do you sleep at night?
I know. And why would you have kids with her?
Right.
It's bad enough to be with her at all, but I mean, married, kids, and she has his last name now. She changed her first name, but she took his last name.
She can change her name to, you know, the artist formerly known as Prince, and everybody's gonna know who she is.
Right.
She's got a very unique look. And
she does.
I mean, she's aged, obviously. And really, like, actually, she hasn't aged too badly. Unlike Diane Downs has not aged well. But, you know,
No.
Karla's not quite as old as Diane. I think Karla's like 53, 54, maybe a little bit older. But, yeah, I mean, but she still looks, you could still tell it's the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah, RJ saying you'd have to sleep with one eye open. Yeah, you got that right.
No kidding. Wow.
It never ceases to amaze me that somebody like that. I mean, again, Jodi Arias got marriage proposals. So did what's his Casey Anthony. I mean, who? It's a sick world, I guess, is all I want to say.
Yeah. I know. I guess, I wonder how many people wrote to her in jail. This girl.
Well, right. Same thing. Yeah.
What do you bet?
What do you bet? Hasn't Jodi Arias made Jodi Arias has made a lot of money, I believe. I don't know if she can keep it or not, but Jodi Arias sells her artwork, and there's sick people out there that buy it.
Wow. She's doing artwork now and selling it?
Yeah, I believe she is. Well, and of course, Tiffany, your dad, David Plus, Dangerous Dave, that girl needs to be brought to Dangerous David Starr's amusement park.
He needs help.
He does. Well, Dave, what ride would she go on? We have to hear the answer.
Please don't even ask him that one.
It's too late. I already did. So
I'm scared of what the answer is going to be.
Welcome to the Dangerous Dave's Dark Carnival. What ride, Dave?
Don't say it.
Let's see. I wonder. Tilt-A-Whirl? No. Haunted House of Horrors?
Maybe like the human sword swallower would be the one that, you know.
Benny.
The crazy train ride from RJ. I like that, but maybe he just popped in to make that one comment, and he popped. So maybe we dodged the bullet there.
So I looked up what Paul Bernardo looks like, and he's bald now.
No way.
Yeah, I didn't find any. I did not find any recent pictures of him. I found a couple of her online. I didn't even want to bother putting. I don't even waste my time with this woman, but yeah, she looks. I mean, for her age, she does look good, but I don't know how she functions. She can't. I mean, I would think everybody in her neighborhood is watching that lady with binoculars every second of the day. How could you trust her? How could you trust her kids, or your kids rather, playing outside, knowing that somebody that lives next door to you killed 3 people?
I know, and her own sister, no less. There's no way this woman has friends.
Oh, here we go. She needs to go on Dangerous Dave's cucumber ride. All right. Oh, we asked and we got it. This is your father, Tiffany.
Benny. Thanks, Benny.
Yeah. Thanks, Benny.
You got to do a better job keeping them in line. I mean, I got to keep running those background checks. You got to. I don't know. You think therapy might be a good thing for him, or you probably hit on the therapist, though, right? If it was a female.
For who?
Definitely.
Paul Bernardo or my dad?
No, for Dave.
Your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When he hit on the therapist too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Nobody is safe.
It would have to be a male that does not look like Rod Stewart.
I mean, is there a line that he would not? Is there a line that he would not cross over?
No, nobody is safe with Dangerous Dave.
Nobody's safe.
No.
Hide your daughters. But yeah, I mean, it's always amazed me how these, of course, like Jodi Arias was. I mean, she was a beautiful girl, but that's great. But once you know what's behind, what's in the mind and the soul of this girl,
yeah,
I want to stay as far away as I can, I can be, because she's dangerous. I mean, what she did to that guy, what makes you think that she wouldn't do it to you too?
I know. And the thing that I don't get about this Karla, or whatever her name is now, but was it Halcyon? Was that what they did to the sister?
What was it?
Was it Halcyon they put in her drink?
I don't know if it was Haloxin.
Let me see. Halothane. I've never heard of that before.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought it was Halcyon. Oh, wow. Okay, so they drugged a 15-year-old, and somebody wanted to date her, marry her, and have kids with her? I'm so confused.
Right. Now, somebody, Chris Ruth in the chat room is saying Jodi was worse than Karla. I don't agree with that. Do you? I mean,
no,
Jodi was a scorned woman that, because the boyfriend was named Travis, right? I believe. Yeah. He moved on. He was interested in another girl, and he moved on. And she, I mean, obviously she was deranged, but it was an isolate. She had no prior issues with the law, as far as I know. She was a girl who got dumped, and she wanted her revenge. These are, Karla, to me, is a completely different story. You have, first you kill your own sister, then you randomly go out and and find 2 other victims. I think Karla's way worse.
Yeah, and what they did too. I mean, they did some pretty gross and graphic stuff.
The fact that they videotaped it is definitely another level.
Yeah.
And that if they video, how many times did they watch it?
That's what I was just going to say.
Exactly.
Did they just watch it over and over again? I don't know.
Right. I mean, that's even to think about that it's stomach turning.
I know.
It really is. But again, I think more proactive police work. I don't know that it would have prevented everything, but I think it would have, prevented maybe it would have prevented the sister, but maybe it would have prevented the other 2. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. mean, maybe
Yeah.
not as like Jared Fogle. They out and out botched it. I mean, so many people went to the police, and didn't that one girl? I think she actually went to the FBI. That one woman, and they said, "Oh, we don't have enough to," So the guy, he flew under the radar for years, and how many kids did he molest as a result of that?
I know. And then and people, didn't they go to Subway too? If I remember correctly, like somebody went to the corporate offices, not went, but
it was
called and made a complaint.
Yes, it was one of the she owned a Subway franchise, and somehow they got involved, and I guess he told her some of the things that he's done, and she went to Subway and told them what everything that he told her. And they said, well, we can't really do anything because he's not an employee of Subway. Yeah, but he's your spokesperson. Are you out of your mind?
Right. He's like representing you guys.
Right.
Like
you're not only he's the worldwide. I mean, the guy's going all over the country, all over the world, and promoting Subway, doing Subway commercials, speaking at schools on behalf of Subway, but you can't do anything. That one boggles the mind.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, we want you to be the face of Subway.
That's another guy that, I mean, I guess he will get out of jail eventually. I think actually maybe in like 3 more years, I believe he can get out. That's a scary thought because I don't think, I mean, he'll be, I want to say 51 when he gets out. I mean, so it's not like, I mean, he's still going to have the urges and everything like that. It's not like he's 83, Yeah. He better be on a very close watch.
I would hope so. I hope he has an ankle monitor on.
I mean, there's an argument for like, somebody being spayed or neutered.
Right? Free clinic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'd be plenty of volunteers, maybe even in jail. Maybe that'll happen. Who knows?
I know, before it's all over with, right?
But, once again, it's just, when somebody comes to you, like a Subway or the FBI and says, this is what he's told me, it at least, it warrants at least, I'm not saying like the guy should be indicted, but they should at least investigate.
Absolutely.
Do something. And if you did something, you might be surprised what you uncovered. But they chose to do nothing. And, when you choose to do nothing, that enables the perpetrator to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Continue to break the law and hurt people, kill people. Awful. But I feel like after hearing all of this, I feel like she's a little more culpable than I thought she was at the beginning. I do. And I'm even more appalled that she's out.
Yeah. It's sick. Well, if the police found the tapes, they were there for 71 days looking for these tapes, didn't find them, and they were in the light the whole time.
Didn't his attorney hide some of these tapes? I heard that the attorney hid the tapes. Is that true?
Yeah. So the attorney, so he ends up telling the attorney where the tapes are after the police conclude their search and didn't find anything. He tells the attorney goes and gets them and decides that it's a good idea to keep them from the judge and like from everybody, and that he's gonna let the police continue on with Karla being their lead witness and to bury Paul. And then during the trial, he was gonna just like drop a bomb on everybody and just show these tapes without entering it into evidence or letting anyone know about it. He was just gonna start showing the tapes and be like, oh, look, your witness is not credible. And so Paul should not be like in any trouble. Pretty much. Like, yeah, so he ended up getting thrown off the case. I don't know if a lawyer finally brought it to someone's attention that he had the tapes or how they found out he had them, but he got thrown off the case because of it.
Thank God.
Yeah, but had he had them for like 15 months. So if he had just given them to the police when he found them, the deal with Karla would not have been made, but they made all these deals and talked to her with not knowing anything about what was on those tapes, that she wasn't the victim, that she was participating in these acts with him.
Wow.
So
She
that
duped
lawyer,
them. She
so
totally duped them.
she did, yeah. So like she would give them like bits and pieces of like, oh, you know, I did this, but it was because like I felt scared or I felt threatened by him, so I had to like do it. So she would say that she did something, but then act like she was the victim of it and was like forced. But on the tapes, it's like clear that she is more than willing to do. Yeah. Yeah. So that lawyer sucks because it's his fault that she's out, pretty much.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is not a saint, but gotta call it a night. I gotta do my other podcast here, so please do not forget to. Well, this was very disturbing, and it is. It's hard to believe that Karla, Homolka, and Paul Bernardo actually exist in this world. And you know, the reality is we're going to be doing this for as long as we want to. I mean, if we decide not to do it, it's not because there wasn't a new case to cover, because I think we already have enough cases for to do this for 10 years running.
Oh yeah.
Would you agree?
Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah. So guys, anybody out there, thanks for listening. If you haven't done so, please make sure you subscribe to the Monte and the Pharaoh YouTube channel so you won't miss any episodes. Please do not forget to join me in 21 minutes for Dan and Benny in the Ring. And tomorrow at 7, I co-host, and we're going to be talking about WrestleMania, our WrestleMania post show and our predictions.
Oh.
So tomorrow night, I host a great new show, When It Was Real, with author and WWF starring Nikita Brezhnikov. We're going to cover the legendary Pittsburgh wrestling mini territory. And if you're a fan of baseball, check out the great Jimmy Pharaoh and me, the Baseball Bums, every Saturday night. And do not, and I repeat, not forget to check out The Bad Girl every Saturday from 1 to 5 Eastern Time on Funland Radio. She's spinning the oldies as only she can. And you can also check out yours truly on WANT Radio every Sunday afternoon at 3 for the Playa, playing the Platters. Now, this weekend I have to work a home show, so I'm actually going to go on at 4 for a special Playas Friday afternoon dance party. Now, that should be fun. And I've included links for both in the notes. So, for the bad girl, Brittany Brown, as well as Tiffany Starr, this is the one and only Playa telling everyone to stay safe and see you next crime. Good night, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Mrs. P. Hi, Mrs. P.
Oh, hi, Mrs. P.
Thanks for listening, Mrs. P.
Thanks for listening, Mrs.